The reason massive goals feel impossible isn't that they require a massive effort, it's that you're looking for a silver bullet. We'll show you the hidden, powerful law that proves tiny, consistent actions, done over time, are the only reliable path to revolutionary results.
So I want you to forget about quantum leaps. Seriously, forget the overnight transformations. Our culture is completely obsessed with the highlight reel, right? The big break, that one decision that changes everything. But you know what? It's a myth. The entire system we're about to break down is built on a single, really powerful paradox. The most insignificant, almost boring daily decisions are what create a massive, exponential split in your life over just 1 year. It is not about the intensity of your actions, but the unforgiving consistency of them.
So, to really master this, we've structured this whole explainer as a complete system, broken down into 6 parts. First, we're going to unpack the exponential paradox itself. Then we'll get into the science of quitting. Why do we always fail to stick with things? After that, we'll build the core system piece by piece. We'll look at the psychology of consistency that fuels it, give you a 3-step launch protocol you can use literally today, and finally, we'll crack the patience equation that makes it all click.
All right, section 1, the exponential paradox. This is the bedrock of everything. The main idea is totally counterintuitive, that real, massive change comes from choices that feel almost meaningless in the moment. It's a concept that our brains, which are just wired for immediate cause and effect, really struggle to wrap their heads around.
So, what is the compound effect? Well, it's the principle that small, consistent, smart actions, when they're compounded over a long period, lead to massive exponential results. The key word here is divergence. Think about it like this. Imagine 2 friends, let's call them Alex and Ben. They're starting at the exact same point in their careers, their health, everything. Now, Alex decides to make a few tiny, seemingly insignificant positive choices every day. He reads just 10 pages of an industry book and does a quick 5-minute workout. Ben doesn't do anything crazy, he just makes a few tiny, poor choices. He watches an extra 30 minutes of TV and has a soda with lunch. Now, for the first month, nothing changes. For the first 6 months, their lives look identical. And this, right here, is the danger zone. It's where 99% of people quit because they get frustrated. They think, I've been reading every single day and I'm not the CEO yet, or I've been skipping the soda and I haven't lost 20 pounds. The effort feels totally wasted because the reward is invisible. But the math of compounding is always working under the surface. After 2 years, Alex has read over 7,000 pages. That's basically a PhD in his field. And those little workouts have built this incredible foundation of energy and health. Ben, he's a few pounds heavier, a little less informed, and just a bit more tired. The divergence isn't invisible anymore. It's a chasm. That is the relentless, unforgiving power of the compound effect.
Okay, so let's move to section 2 and see how this all connects. We get what the effect is, but if it's so simple, why is it so darn hard to stick with? Well, this is the science of quitting. And the most important thing to get here is that your inability to stay consistent isn't a personal flaw. It's not a lack of willpower. It's literally a neurological feature of your brain.
So what is this invisible wall that just consistently torpedoes our long-term goals? Why do we start with so much fire on January 1st, full of vision and energy, only to find ourselves right back on the couch doing the exact same things by February? Well, the answer isn't in our character, it's in our cognitive architecture. It's in our brain's ancient wiring.
The scientific diagnosis for this is a cognitive bias, and it's called temporal discounting. It sounds fancy, but it's a really simple idea. Our brain is hardwired to devalue a big reward in the future in favor of a smaller immediate one. And look, this makes perfect sense from an evolutionary standpoint. For our ancestors, a small piece of fruit right now was way more valuable than the promise of a big hunt next week, which might never happen. Their world was all about immediate survival, but that exact same wiring sabotages us today. That massive, life-changing result a year from now, being fluent in a new language, being in the best shape of your life. It feels abstract and uncertain to your brain, but the comfort of the couch, the taste of junk food, the dopamine hit of scrolling social media, that reward is small, sure, but it's certain, and it's right now. This bias is the #1 psychological enemy this entire system is designed to defeat.
This slide really just lays out the internal conflict. This is the civil war happening inside your brain every single day. On the left side, you've got immediate gratification. This is your limbic system, that ancient emotional part of your brain. It's low effort, it's tangible, it's a small but guaranteed reward, and most importantly, it's your brain's default setting. It's the path of least resistance. Now on the right side, you've got that future exponential reward. This is your prefrontal cortex, the modern, logical part of your brain. It's high effort, it's abstract, it's distant, and yeah, the reward is massive, but your brain can't feel it yet. Because of temporal discounting, our brain will consistently pick the column on the left unless we consciously install a system to override it. This is why that boring, consistent work feels so impossible to keep up without a framework. You're not fighting a lack of motivation, you are fighting millions of years of evolution.
Okay, we've diagnosed the problem. Now, let's build a solution. Section 3, the core system. This is the practical, tactical framework, the 3 core disciplines that act as the elegant, systematic treatment for temporal discounting.
The system is built on 3 non-negotiable pillars. First, you define your action with the small, smart choice. Second, you govern that action with the philosophy of consistency over intensity. And third, you power the whole thing with the tracking and validation loop, which is basically the psychological engine that makes it run. Each piece is designed to solve a very specific part of the quitting problem. So let's break each one down.
All right, the most critical part of step 1 is what we call the 5-minute rule. Whatever daily action you choose, it absolutely must take less than 5 minutes to complete. And I want to be crystal clear here. This is not a suggestion, it is a rule. Why? Because the biggest barrier to any new habit isn't how hard the task is. It's the activation energy you need just to start. By making the action ridiculously small, like reading 1 page, not a whole chapter, doing 10 push-ups, not a full workout, you completely eliminate what psychologists call initiation friction. Your brain can't argue with 5 minutes. The normal way to do things is to go all in, get super motivated, and try to do an hour a day. And yeah, that works for a week, maybe 2, until life gets busy and you miss a day. The 5-minute rule is a different game entirely. The goal of the action isn't the output. The goal is to cast a vote for your new identity and to lower the barrier to starting so much that it's actually harder not to do it. The tiny size isn't a bug, it is a feature. It makes failure to start pretty much impossible.
Now for the second discipline, consistency. This is governed by the never miss twice rule. And this isn't just some motivational quote, it's a psychological firewall. You have to understand the compound effect is a mathematical curve. Chronic inconsistency breaks that curve and resets your progress all the way back to 0. 1 missed day, that can be an accident. Life happens, you're human. But 2 missed days in a row, that's different. That is the beginning of a new negative habit. The second miss gives your brain permission to quit. It confirms that negative voice that says, see, I knew I couldn't stick with this. By committing with absolute resolve to never missing twice, you protect the structural integrity of your long-term results, and you send a powerful signal to your brain that this is non-negotiable.
Okay, let's move to section 4. We have the what of the system. Now let's dig into the why it works so powerfully. This is the psychology of consistency, where we learn how to hack our brain's own reward system to work for us, not against us.
The critical concept here is dopamine substitution. Remember temporal discounting? Our brain craves an immediate reward. And since the real result of your tiny action, that big external goal, is months or even years away, we have to give the brain a substitute reward right now. That's where tracking comes in. The physical act of marking a big fat X on your calendar after you do your 5-minute task, that provides a small, immediate pulse of dopamine. It's a win. This daily tracking reward, while small, is immediate and it's certain. It acts as a bridge, giving your brain the satisfaction it needs to keep going until the real delayed external rewards finally start to show up. You're not getting rid of the craving for a reward, you're just strategically feeding it a healthier one that's aligned with your ultimate goal.
But it goes even deeper than just dopamine. This system fundamentally reshapes your psychology. First, and this is the most important part, it builds identity. Every single time you complete your action and mark that X, you are casting a vote for a new identity. After a week, you're not just trying to be a reader. You've literally been a reader for 7 days straight. After a month, you are a reader. You are becoming a person who follows through. Second, this reduces willpower drain. When an action becomes part of your identity, it stops being a daily battle of discipline and just becomes a natural expression of who you are. Readers read, writers write. You don't have to force it anymore. And finally, this creates a success snowball effect. The confidence and self-belief you build from mastering this one small habit, it creates a positive contagion that spills over into every other area of your life, accelerating your overall performance.
Okay, we've covered the theory and the psychology. Now for the most important part, application. Section 5 is your 3-step launch protocol. This is how you take everything we've talked about and put it into action in the next 10 minutes. No excuses.
The launch plan is so simple. Step 1, identify your atomic input. Choose one positive daily action that takes less than 5 minutes. It could be journaling 1 sentence, meditating for 3 minutes, reading 2 pages of a book. Be super specific. This is your non-negotiable commitment for the next 365 days. Step 2, create the daily tracking seal. Get a physical calendar, a notebook, an app, something you can see, and commit to marking a large X on it every single day you complete your action. Step 3, the one-year audit. Open your calendar right now, digital or physical, and schedule a mandatory audit for 1 year from today. Title it Compound Effect Review. This creates accountability and a very real finish line.
So the key to starting is this. For the first 30 to 90 days, your only goal is to protect the chain of X's. Don't worry about the results. Don't obsess over whether you feel motivated. Focus 100% of your mental energy on not breaking the chain. This visible proof of your own consistency is the psychological fuel you need. Seeing that unbroken chain of X's actually becomes more satisfying than the immediate gratification you'd get from skipping a day. You are literally building a visual monument to your own discipline, and your brain will start to crave the satisfaction of adding another link to that chain.
And that brings us to our final section, the single distilled lesson of this entire framework. This is the patience equation. It's the art of getting out of your own way and simply letting the math do its job.
And this, right here, is the ultimate truth of the compound effect. You already have the power to change everything. You have the ability to make a tiny positive choice today. The only thing you're missing is the patience to let the simple, undeniable math of consistency work its magic over time. And patience here isn't passive waiting. It is an active trust in a proven process. This isn't a test of your talent or your strength or your intelligence. It's a test of your adherence to the system and your faith in the unseen power of compounding.
So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. What is the one tiny daily action, the one atomic input that you will commit to tracking for the next 365 days? Don't just think about it. Decide on it right now, before this is over. What is your 5-minute commitment that will, with patience, change everything?
So let's bring it all home. Remember, this system solves the core human problem of chronic inconsistency by directly fighting your brain's bias for immediate gratification. And why does this matter? Because it gives you the only reliable mathematical path to revolutionary results over 1 year. The atomic input and the daily tracking work together to build a self-reinforcing identity, making your new habits feel natural. And critically, they give you the immediate reward your brain needs to overcome its own deep-seated failures of patience. And the final takeaway is this: productivity isn't about doing more. It's about mastering systems that make focus effortless. Master this system, and you master your future.